Hello, welcome to Tekla Structure Designer 2024 course. This is Module 1, Part 7. Okay, and in this part, we're going to be discussing settings. Okay, to access the settings in Tekla Structure Designer, all you need to do is to go to the Home tab, okay, and click on the Settings tab and click on Settings. Now, in the setting dialog, okay, one thing I want you to know first is that this settings is usually referred to as the global settings. Okay, so what I mean by global setting is that any setting you do here, okay, will be applied to every aspect of your model, Okay, for example, okay, if you do a design settings here, okay, when you create a new drawing, okay, that design setting will be applied to your design. Okay, so it's called the global design setting. Now you can still go back after you've created a new drawing, okay, to do a local setting. Okay, if I go to this design tab, I will see settings and designs. Okay, that is a local setting. It is local to that project. Okay, the same thing with analysis. Okay, this analysis setting is the global settings that you define. Okay, now if you go into this analysis tab, okay, you can also do analysis settings. The same thing with the report settings. There is local report settings, okay, and this is the global setting that covers any new drawing you are creating. Okay, but this one will cover only that specific drawing you've created. The same thing with the drawing settings. Okay, we have the drawing settings here. There is drawing settings here too. Okay, so if you come here, you see model settings. Okay, most of these settings like material list, beam lines, analysis model, solver. Okay, some of these settings here, okay, they're also available in the model settings. Okay, so this is called the global settings, and we make these settings before we create a new drawing. So once we make this setting, any new drawing we are creating, we take on all the properties of these settings. Okay, so usually we can first adjust all the settings before creating a new drawing, or peradventure you've created a new drawing, you want to adjust that settings. Okay, some settings you can go to the individual tabs. Okay, you can use this model settings. Okay, you can go to the loads, analysis, design, foundation, report, drawing tabs to create the settings for that specific project. To start with, the first important thing is the setting set. Okay, now the setting set gives us the region we are working in. Either you are working in the USA, the UK, you are working in India, okay, and other parts of the world. Okay, now to create, let's say you come here, you cannot find your code of practice here or your country or region here. You can come here and click on import. Okay, let's say I want to import Australian standard. Okay, I can select it and click on OK. You can see that Australian setting had been imported, but currently I'm still using the UK settings, okay, because the UK setting is active. To make the Australian setting active, all I need to do is to come here and click on active. Okay, and the Australian setting will become the active setting. Okay, I can return back to my UK settings, okay, and make it active. You can rename any settings, okay. If you don't want any settings again, okay, you can remove it. Okay, the Australian settings had been removed. Okay, you can add a copy of a particular setting, okay, and so on and so forth. So I'll return back to the UK setting and I'll make it active. All right, we are going to go into some of these settings one by one. Okay, some of these settings we'll do them here, while some of them will do it in the individual tabs. Okay, to start with the general. Okay, you can select the language of your choice here. Okay, you can select your auto recovery settings. Okay, like I want my project to be auto saved every 5 minutes. I want backs up of my project to be made every 30 minutes. Okay, you can set your confirmations here. Okay, before deleting any load case, you want a window to show up so that you will click yes, delete, or no, don't delete. Okay, so there are other settings here. Okay, So let's go to the units. Okay, in the unit settings, I can decide, okay, if I'm using a metric system or an imperial system. Okay, like people in the US. Okay, now we are using metric system, okay, for this course. Okay, you can also decide to set the individual unit for your, let's say, dimension, let's say deflections. Okay, setting my deflection is in millimeter. Let's say loads, okay, in kilonewton per meter. Force in kilonewton. Okay, my moment is in kilonewton meter. My angle, okay, my angle is in degrees to 4 decimal places. Okay, my area load is in kilonewton per square meter to 3 decimal places. Okay, so and other settings you can adjust. Okay, my unit weight is kilonewton per cubic meters. Okay, and other unit settings. All right, so the next is the design code. Now in the design code tab here, okay, you can select a regional code here. Okay, you can come here and select United Kingdom BS. Okay, so once you select the head region code here, okay, you can come here and select the action codes. Okay, like general loading BS 6399. Okay, wind loading BS 6399 part 2, snow loading, okay, seismic loading. Okay, you can also come here and select the resistance codes. Okay, like for steel design BS 5950, concrete, okay, foundation design, okay, to be according to the region code you selected there. Let's say I select Indian code. Okay, each of these will change, okay, to Indian standard. Okay, you don't need to make much adjustment here. Okay, it will be switched to the standard of that region. Okay, all right, I'll return to United Kingdom BS. Okay, I'll continue. Now the next important thing I want us to look at now is the structure defaults. Okay, now this will give us some default setting like construction levels. Okay, what should be the default type of my construction levels? Okay, do I want it to be structural slab level? Okay, so I can also specify default extension length for my grid and construction lines. Okay, I can specify nominal covers for my beam, column, wall, slabs, pad footing, and pie caps. Okay, now if I go to the section defaults, now this place is also important. Why? Because I can easily specify the default sizes of my members that I will use for my first design. Okay, like let's say the concrete beam. Now anytime I want to create a concrete beam, the size I'll be giving is 225 by 450. So I can decide to change it or go along with it. The same thing with concrete column. I'll be giving 225 by 225, okay, as my default size of concrete column. Okay, the same thing with my steel beams. Okay, I can specify the default size I'll be giving anytime I want to create a steel beam and steel column. Okay, you can change them, but it is always better, okay, for your defaults, okay, to align with what you want to do immediately. You don't need to change it, okay, to make your work easier and faster. All right, now let's go to section order default. Okay, this usually applies to steel. Okay, now section order default refers to the auto design list, okay, that the software will choose from when it is doing automatic design. Anytime I'm designing a steel beam now, okay, the software will automatically choose from universal beam sections from the lowest to the highest. Okay, same thing with my steel column. Anytime I'm designing my steel column, okay, my steel braces, it will be circular hollow section. It will choose for me. Okay, if I don't want it, I can change it here, or I can also change it while creating the braces, or while creating the columns, or while creating the beams. All right, another thing I want us to look at is the reference. Okay, so in this general aspect, okay, now in numbering or renumbering my model, okay, so let's say I want to renumber my model. What should be the direction of numbering of the beams in the X direction? Okay, I want it to be from top left to bottom right. In the Y direction, I want it to be from bottom left to top right. Same thing with my columns, my walls, my slab. My slab should be numbered from the top left to the bottom right. The same thing with my isolated footings. All right. So you can also, if I want to number, okay, I will start my numbering as 1 for numbers and A for letters. Okay, and I can decide to number my drawings A to AZ or A1 to Z1. Okay, small letters or capital letters. Okay, now once I come to my groups, okay, so in my structure, most of my members are going to be groups like my beams, my columns, okay, and some other members. Let's say for my beams now, okay, concrete beams, okay, the group, okay, will be named BM. So the concrete columns, the groups, okay, will be named CT, column type. Okay, so let's go to text. Each of my beams will be called B. So I will have beam 1, beam 2, beam 3. So I'm going to have, if for the first floor I will have 1 beam 1, 1 beam 2. For the second floor I will have 2 beam 1, 2 beam 2. Okay. So the same thing with my columns, C. Okay. Column 1, column 2. Okay. My braces, these are going to be the numbers for the members. Okay. But for the member groups, okay, it's going to be okay, beam BM1 and CT1, CT2. All right. So I'll come to my material list. Okay, there's nothing much to do here. Now my beam lines. Okay, now my beam lines in the horizontal direction. Okay, if a beam is at an angle of less than 30 degrees to another beam, those beams will be grouped together. They will be joined together. Okay, but if they are more than 30 degrees, they will become individual members. Okay, in elevation view, angle of 10 degrees, okay, they will be joined together, but more than 10 degrees, they will not be joined together. All right, so let's move down to, okay, some of these settings. Okay, let's touch on this analysis model. Okay, sometimes the joints of our beams and column, the rigidity is to be reduced. Okay, you can reduce it by 50% or 25%, okay, according to how your codes permits. Okay, so let's go to the scene. Okay, in this scene, the first thing we're going to be dealing with is the colors. Okay, here I can select the default colors for my members. Like, let's say I come for my members, I go to my concrete beam is using a color of yellow now. Okay, so my concrete beams are yellow in color now. I can switch that color to a different color, let's say blue. So I can switch that color to, let's say, blue. The same thing with my columns. Okay, my columns are brown now. Okay, I can decide to switch my columns from brown, okay, to, let's say, green. Okay, so once I close this settings window, okay, and I refresh my 3D, okay, they will take up these new colors. So let's go to the contours now. Okay, now once I do my slab analysis and designs, okay, my utilization ratios, okay, or the bending moment or shear force, okay, that will be displayed for the slab. Okay, this is going to be the ratio from 0 to 10%. This will be the color. 10 to 20%. This will be the color. 20 to 30%. This will be the color, and so on and so forth. Okay, now for my members now. Okay, once I make a design, okay, for my members, okay, from 0 downward, okay, from 0 upward, okay, this will be the color. From 0.5 upward, this will be the color. 0.7 upward, 0.9 upward, and anyone that is more than 1%, that is any member that fails, okay, this will be the color of that member. Okay, so we have other settings here that you can review. Okay, check the details of them, like the fonts, okay, the graphics. Okay, you can check them on your own. User defined attributes, okay, servers, okay, and the remaining settings. Okay, but that brings us to the end of this part. Thank you.